Now, Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon.
We're speaking with the one and only Chloé Trujillo. Mothers of a New Nation is available now. And as we say here in Montreal, bonjour Chloé, comment allez-vous?
Ça va, merci. Bonjour.
Et voilà, je le savais en venant de Paris que le français, ça marcherait bien.
Ben oui.
And I also have a French passport, believe it or not. So there you go.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
cool.
yes. My family is from Antibes. So,
Ah, d'accord. Mhm.
so beautiful place, but we're in Montreal, well, my entire life. But let us chat about this because you've done something interesting. You didn't throw the record out as one piece all here. You did piecemeal videos once every sort of a couple of months or every month until we got to this final product. Talk to me about doing it in steps and putting out the videos and letting people taste the music and get an idea for the concept before you gave them the full album.
It didn't really come from me originally. It came from a promoter in France who was like, oh, throwing this idea of doing like a single every month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like it. I liked it because, I thought releasing a video along with those songs. So the songs were all finished, obviously, last year, but the videos we did as like each month. So it gave an idea because I'm a visual artist too. So I like having the visual along with the music. And so it gave me time to kind of, get the videos ready for the release of each song. So it was kind of, it worked out in a way. And I don't know, it's just, and also adding, because I released music before this album, years ago and all that. And I never really was vocal about it. I just released it and I was like, oh, if somebody discovers it, whatever. The fact of the videos were kind of also a way of pushing my boundaries and allowing me to kind of share more. And also being, I've done different things in my life where I was in front of the camera, but I've never really done music videos in that way. So it kind of also, forced me to kind of, be more comfortable in front of a camera and doing my own music videos that were directed and filmed by Anne, who is also French, and she became a great friend now through this process. We really connected, and so I give her a carte blanche because we speak French.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you'd say it in English too, right?
Carte blanche. You gave her carte blanche.
So totally freedom of whatever she thinks that video should look like, or what I should dress like, or what it should be, and the environment and everything. And because we had such a strong connection, I totally trusted her, and it made the process really fun. So that's how we kept doing it. Like,
yeah. And the first person that I know who did that was John 5, who you must know. He did that a couple of years ago where he put out a single every month.
I said,
"Why?"
That.
Yeah. And I said, "John, why are you doing that?" He says, "Well, because I'm in the news cycle every month. Then it'll be whatever magazine it's John 5 has a new single. John 5 has a new single." And I'm like, that's not stupid there. That's pretty smart, John.
Yeah.
And as you know, John is a smart guy, so.
Yeah. Totally.
Talk to me about some of the players on this. Obviously, you've had your son play on this, who's just a phenomenal talent. I mean, at the age of 12, he's out on stage playing with, what was it, Suicidal Tendencies or whatever it was?
With Korn, he was, he replaced Fieldy for the South America shows that they did. I mean, he's mind blowing. I don't know what else to say. He's very humble, so he would not like what I say, but because like he was coming home from school and he learned all the Korn songs from a CD, by ear, and he every day after school for hours. My husband was not even around. He was on tour himself, so he can even help him. And then when he came to like his audition, and we went to Fieldy's studio, and I was like, okay, what song do you want to play? And, and then he kind of auditioned there, and he blew everybody's mind. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
and then he went on tour with them. And I couldn't even go because we have a daughter too, and she had school. So luckily Robert came home from tour. Funny enough, he just had toured South America. So
Right.
he got home to LA, grabbed Ty, and then was
Went
Ty's
back.
assistant on tour back to South America. And he was sending me some quick like clips from the side of the stage, and I was crying. I was just like, wow. And he had like the school, they allowed him to go on this tour, and they also played those clips and watched Ty in the classroom, like, this is our classmate, they were like, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, I invited him because he's a great
Bass player.
multi-instrumentalist, so I actually invited him to play guitars on my album. Yeah.
On Propaganda and Tide.
Yes, on a couple songs.
Well, that's kind of cool. Listen, it's kind of cool. I just before you, I interviewed Udo, and he has his son playing drums on his album, and it's just like, you know what? That's what it's all about. It's about getting the family in there. In terms of the future with this, now the album's out, and we have the videos that we can go watch on YouTube. Do you see yourself going on tour? And if so, does it become performance art?
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, it's still kind of weird with all the COVID restrictions and everything. So once that's like feels like more open, my idea, I would love to perform these songs. Like right now, like I'm writing another song. Like I've been writing, I think now I have like officially six new songs that are mastered and
Wow.
for another record. But yeah, my idea would be like really to bring it out and have like a mix of the art and the music together, like you say, like a performance art. I don't know whether it's like having like a mini gallery, like a mini exhibition within a venue, or if it's just like my artwork projected in the back and interacting. I don't know how it's going to be done, but yeah, that's the fun part, when you get to just perform and bring it out there.
Talk to me about the creative process, because when I was in school, I studied creativity, which is as part of my psychology thing. Talk to me about that. Where does it come from? Is it just pure inspiration? Did your parents sort of stick you in front of a piano and say, learn this? How does the creative process work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty natural to me. Yeah, my parents, I mean, I grew up in a very artistic environment. I've never experienced, like the blank page, so to speak. Like I've never been in front of a canvas or in front of a page writing or on the piano, not knowing what to do. I just let it flow. And I think it's just listening and hearing and being a conduit for whatever comes, and allowing. The hardest part though, which I had the hardest time with, is not censoring yourself, because I would censor myself all the time. And that's why this is the first time I kind of put out videos, and I'm more vocal about the music and more vocal about my artwork and all this. The artwork was in a way a little bit easier because you're just like letting it flow. And that's how it is. I have visions and I let them flow, and they, whether I'm painting on the canvas or on the surfboard or whatever I'm creating, and there comes like music that are linked to the artwork that I'm doing. And I always my phone with me, next to me, and I record the ideas that come through. Or sometimes in a dream I wake up and I'm like, wow, this is a song, and I'll record it on my phone. So I let things flow, and then I work on them like in more details. But the trick is to not censor, because I would censor everything. I was just like, oh, no, you know, is that good? That's never good enough. It's
Right.
never good enough.
Well, of course.
Uh,
And that's the dilemma with artists. You never find perfection,
No,
right?
never. And you know, for a long time I was kind of more striving for perfection, or striving for a certain kind of perfection. That's you know, like, oh, is it good enough? No. And then, you know, when you're and I've been working on my own here, like you see, like here, this is
Yep.
my mic. I have all my, this is where I work
Right.
basically. I have a keyboard like right underneath, I have a couple of guitars there. Uh, um, and when you work on your own, there's also no external person that will tell you
Right.
or guide you, you know, and it's about also trusting yourself and being like, okay, you know, not that I don't welcome, you know,
Push.
critics or anything. I
Yeah.
grew up in France, and it's very harsh. It's
Yeah.
very harsh there. I
Yeah.
mean, at
Yeah.
school, you know,
Yeah.
nothing is
Well,
good enough. Whatever
when
you
you're in
do.
première and terminale, they tell you exactly how awful you are every day.
Yeah, yeah, totally. But anything you do too, like, you know, I did dance for a long time, and I remember the first ballet class I took in LA, and she was telling me how wonderful I did my turns or my attitudes or this or that. And I was like, whoa, wow. And it encouraged me to be better, versus I'm used to the French way. It's like, do this, you gotta turn out more, you gotta do this. And
I
you know,
know
you're
that.
kind of
I
like,
know that way. It's never
yeah,
good enough.
yeah. So, you know.
Quand on parle de tableaux, est-ce que c'est des tableaux vivants ou quelle sorte de peinture? What kind of paintings are we doing?
But see, you know, I paint I mean, yeah, I don't know what you mean by tableau vivant, but
Oh, that's
it's
that
alive in a
style where
way.
you paint
Yeah,
people that are, you know,
it's yeah, it's like uh I mean, it's the same way as, like I was telling about being a conduit. I have visions
right.
that are very much like alive in my head, when, and that's what pushes me to kind of um reproduce them on different surface, whatever I'm working with. And so, and they become uh you know, they're like very, they're very, they're like a dream. Like when you analyze my paintings and the different elements and symbols that are in there, it all makes sense. You know, it
Right.
has like a deeper meaning, and it can change, you know, to
Yeah.
the
So I'm
person.
looking at that being one with the skull back there.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Oh,
kind of
thank you.
cool. Um,
This is my art studio as well. You know, it's
yeah,
like
and
mythic art.
it's funny because I can't remember the philosopher. It was either Aristotle or Plato who said that we have an idea in the mind, and the problem with an artist is that you can't ever get what's in the mind on that paper.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
Same with music in a
of
way. You
course.
know, sometimes I have songs in my head and I can't reproduce them. Like I can't bring them to life to in this 3D world. It's like it's somewhere there, and it's not exactly. It's never exactly what you see or
Nope.
what you hear.
And it drives you crazy. In
Yeah.
terms of the music, obviously your husband's in Metallica. Do you stay away from him not to bother him, or do you say, "Hey, come on, give me some input. Let's help me." Like, because you know he does that every day. So is it like, "Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
I tend to never bother him.
yeah,
But during the lockdown, we were all as family member, like all kind of stuck
stuck together."
together.
Yeah,
And I needed, it's the first time I actually asked him for help, and he actually, he loved it. But I needed, you know, I had my bass line written, some were played by a different bass player, but they were still in a demo stage for these songs,
right.
or some I just recorded with my keyboard. But when it came to mixing the songs and finishing them up, I really wanted like a real bass sound. And my son Ty, who's a great bass player, got so busy because he has two bands,
Yeah.
Auto and another band called Feed the Beast, and he was playing
With
starting.
Scott Weiland's son.
No, no,
Yeah.
not that. That was,
That's
yeah,
a
that
new
was
one.
like in the beginning. But yeah,
Okay.
he has like two other, yeah.
Okay.
And he was busy writing with it was still lockdown, so he's doing really a lot of shows right now. He's actually playing Saturday in town, but he was so busy I didn't want to bother him. But my husband was a little less busy at that time during the full lockdown.
Yep.
So I asked him if he would play the bass on those songs. So the funny thing is they never heard the song. He's like, just put the click track and maybe a drum beat and then the bass line and give me some charts and then I'll play them. And so, yeah, around midnight, certain nights we would just be like sitting there and be recording him, and so when the first song released, I think it was end of January, and I told him, oh, there's like the first song is released. Oh, which one is that? So he only knew the songs by the bass lines. He never heard the songs
The
with the
titles.
vocals or the guitar or any instrument.
It's funny.
So he was like, "Is that the song that goes do 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 do?" I was like, "Yeah, that's it."
That's great.
But yeah, so this was the first time, and that I asked him to do anything with, for my art or my, and so it's the first time because I was always afraid of his feedback because he could be harsh. He could
Well,
be,
hey, listen, when you're in Metallica and the biggest metal band in the world ever, you're
yeah.
good. You
But still,
got to be
he could
good.
be nice
So,
to other bands. Like some of the bands I listen to, he was like, "Oh, what were you listening to this?" I'm like, "I love this band. Sorry, like
what
the
are
bass.
you listening to that he's doing that? I mean, is it like Dead Can Dance? What are we listening to?
No, it's like death metal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna say
All right, you don't want
particular bands in
to.
specifically, but he started actually liking Carcass, and he started liking Death, and he started liking Obituary and Cannibal Corpse. But at first he was like, "What is this? Why do I have to sound like this?" I'm like, "I love this shit." But now
Yeah.
he's starting to like some of them, but there's still some of them where he's like, ugh, you know.
Yeah, well, he says you can tell by my shirt. Where is it? Over here.
Oh yeah,
I'm more in the melodic rock.
yeah. I love it all. But I had my in the '90s. I had my little death metal era where I was just listening to all the Morbid Angels and all this.
Listen, great bands, but I'll stick to Megadeth, Metallica, and Anthrax that have a little bit more melody and a little bit more.
Yeah,
I don't want to say pop appeal, but in a sense, there is a bit of a pop appeal to what they do. In terms of what's next for you, because you're doing this, you're doing the what was I going to say, the artwork. Where do you want to see yourself focusing moving forward? Do you want to focus on the music, or do you want to focus on art, or it is what it is? Que sera,
they
sera.
Yeah, they both work kind of together. And I've tried this many times in my life where people tell me, oh, you got to focus on one thing only.
Creative mind doesn't work that way.
No, and really, I get inspired to paint when I write music, and I get inspired to write music when I paint. It really goes hand in hand, and I have a gallery that represents me in Malibu, um, and I've been doing a lot of shows there. That's been great, and so I don't have to take care of the selling my art part.
Right.
I just paint, and then we do shows, and they take care of the showing, and of course I'm there during the openings, and I'm present.
Right.
And they're fantastic over there. I really love them. And then yeah, and then the music is I mean, it goes hand in hand, and I'm here working every day, and I'm just grateful because I love what I do.
Right.
So I can't complain. And
When you're creating your art, how conscious are you of the commercial, how commercial it has to be. Because if you're doing galleries and you're selling it, do you sit there and say, oh, I can't add that because then I won't be able to sell it, or I need to add this because it'll get me an extra couple of thousand? No.
No, I just try to stay true to myself and whatever comes. I am not really a salesperson.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not,
Uh,
I don't think that way. I know some people do think that way, and it's good. Everybody's different. I'm not that type. I'm
yeah,
really like trying to stay authentic and not think about will it sell more. Like I think if you're true to yourself and you're really showing who you are, I think the people that get it will get it even more,
right.
versus as the opposite when
The
you're not.
you have a couple of other projects, and I'm just trying to see if they're both going on. You have one with Rav Medic and another one with Mark Dalbe or Dalbeth.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. Yeah.
Okay, it's the same one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and talk to me about that. When does that come out, and who's taking the lead on that? Does Rav do everything, and then you just join in, or is it your project and he helps, or is it really a collaborative?
It's a full collaboration,
Okay.
50-50. He well, we met because there was a charity show at the Troubadour. When was it? In May? I forgot when it was. No, March. Yeah, in March, I think.
Earlier 2021.
Yeah, and he contacted me and said, hey, would you like to collab on the song? I'm like, yeah, cool. And from there he sent me a couple of music ideas, and I picked one of them, and I said, I like this tune, I'll work on it. And he worked on it, and he does the music part and I do the melody and lyric part, and we put it out, and it got such a great feedback and,
Right.
and response that now we have like a label that it's called Golden Robot
Yeah, Mark.
Record.
Mark out in Australia. We love Mark.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
best.
And he contacted us, and now we're signed with them over there. And so we actually are in the process of writing a full EP.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm writing our third song right now. No, fourth song. I mean, third song with Golden Robot. So yeah.
yeah. Well, you
Uh,
can't go wrong with Mark and Golden Robot. I love that guy.
he's so cool. I didn't know him at all. We had a couple Zoom meetings, and he was just a great guy, and I love his passion for music, and so it felt like a perfect fit, and I was just like, and he works with some of my friends in France, and I was like, oh my God, this is like, it's such a small world in the metal
It
world,
really is. Hey, Disney was right. It's a small, small world after
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Last thing, in terms of social media, I've always found it interesting to follow your Instagram because it's not just family stuff, but there's also some creative stuff going there. How important is social media for what you do, and can you turn that into an art form?
That's a good question. Well, it's important for me that's the way, especially nowadays. It's the way to connect with people, and I love that, to be able to see, read the comments, the messages, and kind of interact with people who are like supporting my art or my music, or just there to kind of see, check it out, what's going on. I think it's a great way to do that. An art form, it could be, many times I thought, oh, maybe I can make this some kind of artistic display of my creativity.
Yep.
But I'm gonna do, like, actually in about half hour, I have another Zoom meeting, because I'm redoing my website, and I was trying to implement something like that, similar, on my website, creating like a sort of a blog where I could just display the latest stuff, but also in a artistic kind of way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because what happened to Instagram a couple weeks ago, where it was completely gone, and you're never sure what's going to happen in the future. If they decide to shut it down, then there's no, I want to make sure I have like a way to still connect with people and still,
Oh, I know that. I know exactly that. I had 500 episodes on a podcast platform that disappeared, and I don't
Mhm.
have access to those shows anymore. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh my
horrible.
god, I got to start over.
Yeah,
But c'est la vie.
yeah. C'est la
As we
vie,
say
mais
in, pardon me.
je dis c'est la vie, mais c'est quand même pas idéal, hein.
Nope, mais bon,
Bref.
on se lève et we keep walking et on continue à faire ce qu'on a à faire. Comme on dit à Montréal, or like we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. An absolute pleasure. And the fun fact is, the last person of Metallica I interviewed a couple of years ago was your husband. So
Oh,
now
really?
you. So now I just need Ty so I can get the whole family.
Yeah. And Lula then after that.
Yeah.
Lula's
Well, by the
become a
way,
great drummer now. It's just amazing.
Lula's doing drums?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
you're going to have your own little band soon.
Totally. Totally.
You, Rob, and the two kids in a van going from show to show. That's going to be terrific. Merci bien.
Merci.
Bonne
Merci.
journée. Bye bye.
Merci. Au revoir.
That was good. Thank you.